Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today my studio session and your studio session is going to be yellows, and I'm going to break them down by brand. But this is all the yellows I have. Now this is light yellows like lemon yellows all the way to cadmium yellows and a couple of different, like bismuth yellow and quinapolone yellow. So that's a new one to me, and we're going to compare them and see where we get. Okay, so we're going to start off with Winsor & Newton and my painter's color diary. This is cotton paper, and you get that at Jerry's Diorama or Amazon. I'll link all the supplies in the description below. I have my number 8 Princeton Aqua Elite Synthetic Sable, and I have a pencil for taking notes. So we're going to go through these one by one and compare and contrast and see what is the perfect yellow. So here we go. Okay, like I did with my indigos, and I also have water in a paper towel, clean water in a paper towel. So like I did with my indigos, I'm just going to go off the top of the tube here, and I am going to paint. First I'm going to paint across and just compare. I probably need to wet that. It just does better when you wet the surface. That way you can see how. Well, that brush isn't going to work. Let's wet the surface with this Vinci Casaneo. I might decide that that's a good one to swatch with. I'm not used to it yet. It's a new brush to me. Okay. So let's see. Let's just try it. Well, I have some on this brush. So let's go here. Ooh, that Winsor Lemon. It is bright. I haven't done these yellows in a long time. Look at that. Look how it flows. I'll zoom in on it so you can see. And, I have an old video of yellows, and it has all my yellows, including earth. But this time I thought I would just do brights, and I'm going to include pigment numbers. So, we can compare that. And, we'll see tinting strength. So here we go. I'll get a little bit of alizarin crimson, and I'm just going to start with a teeny tiny bit because alizarin crimson is strong, and I want to see how these yellows hold up. And that was just a teeny tiny bit. So look at that, and it gives an orange. So let's get a little bit more. So that mixes well. And we'll go back and test a couple other things on it. So that's interesting. I think I'll pass on this brush for now. I'm just used to that point. You get used to brushes, and you just tend to go back to the same brush over and over again. All right, so we're going to wet the page, And the next one I have is Cadmium Yellow Pale. And that is PY35. The first one was PY175. Now, as a cadmium, I would expect this to just take off. I haven't opened some of these for a long time. There we go. For people that have trouble with their hands, they do have tools. And I don't have one, but they do have tools to open the lids. Okay, so let's get some of this. Is true cadmium, PY35. Shouldn't take much. This is a little bit darker yellow, but yes, look at it. Look at it go. Now this might have a little bit more ability to stand up to the alizarin crimson. I like these Painter's Color Diary because you can really have a grid style. I want to make sure I get the lids back on my paint so it don't dry up. This is Cadmium Yellow Pale. Okay, let's get a little bit of alizarin crimson. A little bit. And mix into this. And see how it mixes. That made a nice peach tone. And this makes a nice, kind of a nice peachy tone as well. I should have did that over here. But this is, the Cadmium Yellow Pale seems to have a little more oomph to it. Okay, now this is Cadmium Yellow. And it has PY35, same as this, but it has PO20. And that's an orange pigment to make it a little bit darker or orange leaning. Oh, goodness. Okay, hang on. That was really hard to get off, and I had to use a tool, and I broke the lid. So, I may have to pan this. I didn't break the threads or anything, but let's give that a little bit more of a wet. I did once. And there's a little bit of binder coming out. I hate to go down in there because it can kind of mess with your brushes. But that's really taken off. Let's go down here. I have a little bit too much pigment on my brush. It's a pretty yellow. It reminds me of kind of like a Hansa Yellow Medium. I don't know. Okay, let's see what it does with alizarin crimson. This one's brighter. I like this one over here, this cad yellow pale. That's more orange because the yellow is leaning more towards orange. Which, good color theory, that's how we know. So, okay, so there's the Winsor & Newtons I have. So let's go on to the next brand. Okay, the next brand I have is Schmincke. So I had two yellows here, and we'll just try them out to see. I think they're going to be very similar to this, but this is a different pigment. This is PY3. So I am not exactly sure how that's going to mix in comparison with the Winsor Lemon. It's called lemon yellow as well. It seems a little brighter. I didn't wet the page. I didn't wet the page. Well, I'll wet the page down here and we can look at it and how it moves before we mix it. I always want to go in an order. This is Winsor, or this is lemon yellow. They call it lemon. And it doesn't move, it moves a little bit. Let's check its transparency. It moves some, not as much as the Winsor lemon, but it moves some. So let's go ahead and get some of that pigment down. And get our control color of alizarin crimson. Got too much water on my brush. If you get too much water on your brush, just tap it on a paper towel. I may have gotten too much alizarin crimson. So let's get a bit more of lemon yellow. And you know, this lemon yellow just may not have, this PY3 may not have the tinting strength of Winsor lemon. So that's something to consider. And here we go. It's a little bit more orange. I like this cadmium yellow pale and how it gives me a peach color. Okay, so let's do the cad yellow light. This is the same. It's PY35. So it should be almost exactly like the Winsor & Newton. Same pigments should act the same across any brand. Now there will be some things that vary, such as whether it's tube or panned, could make a different formulation. Schmincke has a tendency as to not flow as well. So they even include, but that's doing a pretty good job. That is a little bit lighter than the Cad Yellow Pale. So, you know, cooking times, who knows, you know, each brand has their secrets that they don't like to reveal because, you know, they want you to choose their brand. All right, that has some opaqueness to it, which is to be expected. And let's get our control of alizarin crimson. Didn't get enough. I'm just getting a teeny tiny bit. Alizarin crimson is a strong color. That's nice. It's a nice orange. All right, let's take a look. Yep, that's a nice orange. I did like that Winsor & Newton Cadmium Yellow Pale and how it got me a peach color. So that is something to remember. So I'm just going to put a little tick mark there that I like that mix. So, and it goes to show you that sometimes it does pay to have a warm and a cool. So this is a warm yellow and this is a cooler yellow. So, you know, I mean, I think it really, and you know, I'm not perfect. I could have gotten a little bit more alizarin crimson here than I did here, but basically it's the same hue. So, okay, let's move on. Okay, new to the game. New to the game is Michael Harding. I haven't had these very long. I haven't really done many tests with them, just as far as a few mixing things on a live stream. If you want to see that, I will include that in the end cards or the description below. It was kind of a popular video. So here is Bright Yellow Lake, and it is PY3, and I've already wet my paper there. Gosh darn, I'm having trouble opening these tubes today. So if you have trouble opening tubes, then having a paper towel around will help, because the paint does dry around the threads a little bit. I'm going to go down here and put that down there. Tap on my paper towel, and I want a flood of water. That's pretty. PY3. It's the same as Schmincke's Lemon. over here, and it looks to be about the same. This really has a brightness to it. The flow is not great. It's moving, but not very, not like Winsor Lemon. Winsor Lemon just went right over. So when I was in a class, the instructor had specific colors in blues and in reds that they wanted us to use, and greens for their project. Because when you go to a workshop, they have a project for you, so they can teach you certain techniques. And that's good. I don't want to have to think about what I want to paint. I just want to learn techniques from them so I can take it home and practice myself on some of my own projects. That is too much. It seems to have a low tinting strength. So let me get some more yellow lake, bright yellow lake, and mix some more in with it. It just saves wasting a lot of paint and paper if you just mix right on the paper. Okay, so that's pretty good. As to be expected, low tinting strength, so it took a lot of paint to make that color. It took a lot of yellow paint compared to alizarin crimson. Okay, so we'll put that aside and go to Yellow Lake. And Yellow Lake is PY 180. And I don't think I've swatched a PY 180 yet. So let's see how that's going to do. I got that one open easier. It's sort of a medium yellow. PY 180. We did a PY 175, but this is a PY 180. It's like a medium yellow. It made a pretty orange right there. That's moving more. Let's see how it holds up to alizarin crimson. I'll just start off with a teeny tiny bit. And my alizarin crimson is wet, so I think it's going to make a really pretty orange. These Princeton Aqualite brushes, they're nice. I have a lot of control and a lot of snap. I like their squirrel brushes too. They're synthetic squirrels, but they're really soft. So that's really pretty. That's really pretty. I almost see a little bit of granulation with that one. I don't know. We'll have to check it out after it dries. All right, so here is Michael Harding's Hansa Yellow Medium. Now this is one that I use in Daniel Smith's line a lot, Hansa Yellow Medium. And it's the same pigment, PY97. Piece of lint on there or something. I do not have a pet, so it has to be just lint. Okay. Yeah, that's nice. I like Hansa Yellow Medium. It does have a high tinting strength. I think it's a little bit more neutral. And I think it moves. It's moving over here, not like a cadmium moves. But it is moving. Somewhat. Not a ton. That cadmium yellow pale over here moved all the way across the page. Alright, so let's get some alizarin crimson and see what that does. But anyway, I was saying the instructor said, you know, use this color blue and this color, you know, oh shoot, I was going to do it right there. And she said, and get a yellow, any yellow. So she didn't think it was important which yellow you used as long as it was a yellow, neutral yellow. So, and she didn't even say what yellow she used. I put a little bit more alizarin crimson in there, I think. So, but that's pretty. I like Hansa Yellow Medium. It's a good yellow. And you can add a little bit of red to it to get it warmer. Or you can add a little bit of green to it to get it cooler. See, I mean, this Bright Yellow Lake PY3 compared to either one of these almost looks green. It's so cool. All right, on to the next brand. Okay, so for Holbein, I always say, okay, for Holbein, I have two watercolors. I have Permanent Yellow Light, which is a mix of PY3, PY74, and PY111. I've never heard of that. And then I have a roll-in. Now I have a large tube of this because I heard that it is the most light-fast a roll-in yellow of all the brands. So, and I heard that from a YouTuber. I cannot remember who, but if I can think of it, I will put it in the description below. I think it's a fairly neutral yellow. So let's go ahead and I got a roll-in first. So I'm going to wet the paper. And we're going to see how this goes down. And during that video, she also mentioned that it, other roll-ins like from Daniel Smith or Winsor Newton, tended to turn brown in her light fast test. So this is moving. The flow's pretty good. It's fairly transparent. Looks pretty good. So let's get our control of alizarin crimson and see how it holds up to it. It's a neutral yellow. I don't think it's too warm or too cool. Now I'm having to do some mixing here. Rub the pigment around. I wonder if it's staining. I'm gonna do some lifting tests after. Yeah, it's mixing in good. If you notice, when you really mix a couple colors, they will desaturate. Which is why, you know, when I want a good strong color, I like to get it from the tube straight. You know, so if I need an orange and I want a good strong orange, which I very rarely use orange, but pumpkin season and fall I do, but it does desaturate. So that made a pretty orange, but it really didn't move much in water. It traveled about halfway over. So let's do the permanent yellow lemon light. Okay, let's get that. And this is a cooler. That's pretty. Has a little bit more of an opaqueness to it. It's traveling across the page good. Let's see. Let's see how it mixes. All right. It could be up here that, you know, I didn't mix them enough. There's always human error. That's a pretty color. Permanent yellow light. Okay, there it's starting to blend in with one another. There's my heater. It's still kind of chilly. It's March 24th. Yeah, so that's pretty. That's pretty. That's a nice yellow. Very similar to PY3. PY3. And even very similar to Winsor Lemon. Interesting. Aurelian's a more neutral, leaning warm, a warmer yellow. So that's interesting. This cadmium yellow with that orange in it definitely probably mark that off as far as a neutral yellow. All right, so let's go on to the next brand that I have. The next brand I have, I'm going to put right up here in the top in the middle. I just have one yellow, and it's Joe's Yellow in American Journey paints. And they're good paints. You know, if you want to paint and you want to paint a lot, then, you know, this would be a good mixer to make. You know, if you're doing landscapes and you want to put a lot out and really get in there and put in some brush miles, then this would be a good economical way to do it. You know, you can get a whole lot of painting done this way. I didn't wet the surface. Can't wet it with that brush. Okay. And here we go. Joe's Yellow. Looks like a nice neutral yellow. PY 154. We'll watch that travel and see how that does. That's a nice yellow, really. It feels a little bit different going down. It looks like it could be semi-transparent. Let's look at the tube and confirm that. It's nice and bright. And let's see. Put the lid back on that. It says that it is semi-transparent, and it says it's warm and it's very good in light fastness. So let's mix it with a little bit of alizarin crimson. That's a good yellow. I'm going to get a little bit more alizarin crimson. That stands up. Makes a nice orange. Makes a really nice orange. So yeah, I think that's a good choice. It really stood up to that alizarin crimson. This would probably be your most economical way. I do believe that Cheap Joe's is made by Vinci, and I do have some Vinci samples here we can test. It says that it is PY 154, which is Vinci yellow, and we'll test it. Let's just find a place. I should have tested them right next to each other. Oh, we still can. We still can. But I think that they're going to be the same. Let's just test them right next to each other. Apples to apples. I'm going to do Cheap Joe's American Journey. And this is dried down, so I'm not getting it in its tube state. But this is Da Vinci Yellow. Oh, it lifts right away. These are the sample packs. I would encourage, if you're going to buy a brand, then, get the sample packs because they're not very expensive for what you get. Some of them are kind of stingy, but these are very generous. Yes, they look exactly the same. Exactly. That came from a tube and this came from dried. So, and I do believe that Da Vinci produces American Journey paint. So, there's that. So we'll put this, let's label this. This is American Journey. And this is Da Vinci. And this is PY 154. Let's just test some more Da Vinci's over here. The next one over is our light yellow. I'm not going to mix the Da Vinci because I expect it to turn out just exactly the same. Okay, so this is our light yellow. And this is Da Vinci. I didn't wet the paper. I think Da Vinci it's an American-made company, and it does have large tubes. You can be more economical. That Aralide yellow is pretty. That is, see how it stands up to alizarin crimson. I kind of got messed up because I forgot about these Da Vinci. Let's just mix some of that into that and see how that stands up. That's a nice yellow. Nice. I could put some. I wonder if I could get that PY154 to kind of lift up and mix on the paper still. And you can. I didn't put as much, but it did just fine. It's nice. Very nice. Okay, we're going to label this Da Vinci, and this is called Aralide Yellow, PY97. Okay, I thought I did a PY97. I did, Hansa Yellow Medium and Michael Harding. So that seems I will take a picture of all these at the end and post it at the end of the video. And you can take a screenshot at it and look at it a little bit closer. Because that is Hansa Yellow Medium. And they call it Arlide Yellow. Okay, so the next one by Da Vinci. Let me get back. Let me label these. Okay. Oh, sorry for the shaky camera there. Okay, so I am really impressed with the information that is on the Da Vinci sample kits, how they're packaged. They're packaged like in little egg carton type things. And that's what it feels like. It feels like egg carton. And, you know, I'm just going to put each one down on the page so you can see all the Da Vinci together here. And I'm going to mix all in the same one without putting the yellows on. If you'd like to see just all yellows together without the mixing, leave it in the comments below and I'll make another video. It doesn't matter to me, but because you can tell a difference up here, but I like to see how they're going to mix and spread and flow, you know, because I love this one. This one is Cad Yellow Pale. And that looks real, and that makes a really nice peach color for me. So I like that. So we'll go on, and I'm going to get this, and I'm going to go here and wet the page first, wet the box. And this is Cad Yellow Light, PY35. Now we've seen this PY35 up here, but they have 3 or 4 cadmiums in here. Here's Cad Yellow Light. In Schmincke, it was quite a bit cooler than the Cad Yellow Pale in Winsor & Newton. So, okay, let's do the Cad Yellow Light. And it is right here. Cadmium Yellow Light. Cadmium Yellow Light. PY35. And it's right here. Alright, so let's see how this goes on the page and how it spreads. PY35, it's a cadmium yellow. That is pretty, and it's a moving. And it looks similar to Winsor & Newton's Cadmium Yellow Pale. Very, very similar. Okay, before I bring in alizarin crimson, I'm just going to go here on the next one and do Hansa Yellow Medium, Da Vinci. That way we can kind of see and this was Arlide Yellow. I'm going to mark that. And this was Da Vinci. And it was PY97. I like that too. Alright, let's do their Hansa Yellow Medium. It is right here, PY74. And it's down here. I like Hansa Yellow Medium in Daniel Smith. That's nice. PY74. The Hansa Yellow Medium in Michael Harding was PY97. The same as the Aralide. Hansa Yellow Medium, I think, is, you know, a high tinting strength color. It says on here that it's staining. So we'll come back and see how that does. This Aralide yellow, now that I'm looking at it, looks a little bit weaker than the Hansa Yellow Medium, but the same hue. I think it's very neutral. All right, so let's go. And Joe's yellow is same as Da Vinci yellow, which is PY 154. PY 154. Joe's. And this one is Da Vinci yellow. PY 154. All right. So that tells you a lot, I think. We'll come back and do some mixes in here. But now I want to come down here and do Cadmium Yellow Lemon from Da Vinci. Cadmium Yellow Lemon is Cadmium Yellow Lemon right here. PY 35. It says it's staining, opaque. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's just get that up. It's quite cool. Easy to re-wet. Moves on the paper. Really nice. And is opaque. It's covering the black line. I know you can see it, but it's very cloudy over the black line. So subsequent layers would be, you know, would cover it up. All right, so the next one is Hansa Yellow Light. Now let's just compare here. Cadmium Yellow Lemon, PY 35. Cadmium Yellow Light, PY 35. Cadmium Yellow Pale, PY 35. And Cadmium Yellow Light. Cadmium Yellow Light is about like Cadmium Yellow Pale in Da Vinci and Winsor and Newton. Schmincke's Cadmium Yellow Light is more like Cadmium Yellow Lemon. So, gosh, there's a lot of paint out there and a lot to consider. Let's try Hansa Yellow Light. And this might be even more confusing to you than, but we're just trying to look at the properties of the paint. Okay, so Hansa Yellow Light, PY3, and it's right here. So it's the fourth one over 1, 2, 3, 4. Hansa Yellow Light. It leans more towards green. It's very cool. Hansa Yellow Light. It doesn't move on the paper like cadmium yellow lemon. It is, I think, semi-transparent. I'm seeing a little cloudiness over it, but it's pretty much dry and transparent. It's very, very cool. Okay, so let's try Da Vinci's Aurelian. And it's a mixture, PY40, PY3. I'm interested in this. The more I can learn about paint and its properties, but that instructor said, any yellow, just use a yellow, any yellow. So I didn't wet the paper on this. That's pretty. Let me see if I can't pull it. That's a pretty yellow. It's warmer than this. See, this almost looks like a really fluorescent, like a highlighter color. That's a pretty yellow. I use Hansa Yellow Medium, which is basically the same color family. So interesting. And then we have Cad Yellow Medium, which is right here. Second one over. Let's wet that page, because I like the way cadmiums move. Okay. Cadmium Yellow Medium. It is an opaque color. It's PY35. And this cadmium yellow medium up here, it said just cadmium yellow, and Winsor & Newton has PO20 in it. So it has an orange pigment in it to make it very warm. This doesn't say that. I think this is very neutral. I think it's nice. Very nice. So, okay. So the rest of the yellows and then it starts going into reds. So I'm not going to do those. But let's go back and try to get a little bit of alizarin crimson and mix in here. To see how they act. And got too much, but I didn't get it on the other side of the page. I may have to get a little bit more. See, that was cadmium yellow medium. I don't want to get the wrong one. Cadmium yellow medium. Yeah, that's nice. Mixes well. Mixes really well. And actually, the more you mix it, the more it desaturates. Cadmium yellow medium. Okay. There is cadmium yellow light, Da Vinci. You know, that's one thing about watercolor. You know, even if it's dried, you can reactivate it. And that makes, you know, your mixing capabilities just, that's pretty. That's kind of a peachy tone. Cadmium yellow light. It's more along the lines of cadmium yellow pale. I don't know. You know, it's just whatever. You know, some of these are more budget friendly. This made a really nice orange. That wasn't as much pigment, so that's just really lighter. Let's go in with this Hansa Yellow Medium, PY74. Okay. That's nice. I like that. Hansa Yellow Medium. I like that one. I'm not an in-your-face orange type of person, but you know, some of you might. And this made just a brilliant orange, and it didn't take much. Okay, and I did the Arborlight yellow with a mix. So I'm going to go down here to cadmium yellow lemon. And mix it. And I can always go in, and I might have too much. Yeah, I'm going to have to go back in and get some more cad yellow lemon. Let's rinse my brush. Cad yellow lemon. Let's mix that up. Might even need more. And it's just all what color you want. That has shifted. Cad yellow lemon. That has shifted. It makes a nice orange. But you can go more towards red orange, or the more lemon you add, you can get more towards yellow orange. And knowing that is really important, because it's, you know, it helps your mixing ability, because you know how, you know, well, you blue and orange make brown. So if you just have 3 colors, then you maybe want to start with the yellow orange and then add blue. Okay, here's Hansa Yellow Light. I'm going to get some alizarin crimson. And that is not quite equal parts, but that's pretty. I'm kind of making a blend. And it's kind of a yellow to Yeah, that's pretty. And then over here to alizarin is kind of pinky. That'd make a pretty skin tone. Add a little bit of blue to that. And then make a pretty burnt sienna. That's just really pretty. I like that. Oh, shoot. I didn't put very much on the palette. Okay, so let's go to, and if any of these colors you guys want me to do a deeper dive, let me know. This Hansa Yellow Light, I'm going to go back and I'm going to mix it a little bit more. Just a little bit more Hansa Yellow Light. And a little bit more just to get a more saturated color. Yeah, see how pretty that is? That is pretty. Very pretty. About the same, but you know, each one has its own thing. Okay, this Roland is a mixture of PY40 and PY3. So let's take a little bit of alizarin crimson and get her mixed in. Let's see if it's gonna mix good. Yeah, that's nice. You know, that's really nice. Let's add a little bit more Aurelian to that. Aurelian, right there. I'm going right there. Very nice. Mixes well. Mixes really well. You know, I don't know, is that granulating? It says 5 with a square around it. Oh, it's a Series 5 paint. And it's transparent and very good light fast. Okay. But I think Hansa Yellow Medium PY97 has even, I think it has excellent light fast. All right, so I think we've done Da Vinci. All right, let me give you a screenshot so far, and then we'll move on to the next brand. Yeah, take a screenshot of this so you can zoom in and look at the different characteristics of each of the pigments. That's really cool. All right, we'll be right back and we'll go on to the next brand. Okay, so the next, I've got a couple of stray yellows here. I have a core Hansa Yellow Light and a Mission Gold Hansa or permanent Mission Gold Permanent Yellow Light. So let's just do those. I got these in a kit long time ago, and I just went through all my kits and found all the yellows. I have way too many yellows, but I like to keep you know, all the cores together. I like to keep all the brands together. So, you know, that's just me and my collector. I don't know. Nope, it's good. Okay, here's core. Now core is known, I squeezed it once and it came out. Let me get the lid back on there. Okay, so I'm going to put this over here and let it go. Now core is known for its flow. So we'll just see, we'll just test that. And it's flowing. My paper started to dry a little bit, but you know, I mean, it's okay. It's not what I expected, but you know, it's okay. So let's go ahead across and get that color over. And pick up some alizarin crimson. And do a little mixing on the page. And see if that is to be expected. I can always go back and get some more yellow pigment, but I think it's just going to do just fine. It's pretty. It's nice and clean and transparent. Get a little bit more maybe. Because right now it's a yellow or a red orange. Get a little bit more pigment and see if I can't make it an orange. And I can. It mixes nice. There, I went outside the lines. Uh-oh. I've been doing that a little bit, but not that bad. On the yellow light. That's pretty. That is pretty. And Core's a good brand. I think, you know, it's made by Golden. I think it's a little expensive. So if I'm going to do that, then I am going to go Daniel Smith. But that's nice. It's just what you think. I'm a collector, so I think I have to have it all. I don't have to have it all, but, you know, that's just in my mind. This is Mission Gold, and this is Permanent Yellow Light. Doesn't seem to want to flow. I wet the page. It's starting to move a little bit. It seems to be a little bit opaque. So we're not getting that white of the paper showing through as much. It says it's transparent. So let's go across. Maybe I just had too much pigment. But you know, I am seeing a line there. I am seeing some cloudiness over that line. So you kind of have to do your own research and not trust what is on what is on what the brand says, because that definitely has some cloudiness in it. It could be some fillers from the brand. It's a Korean made brand. It says Series C. Mission Gold was one of my first collections I bought. It's not standing up to the alizarin crimson very well. Let me get some more. Turn it to a... I got quite a bit. So let's just see. Alizarin crimson is strong. That makes a nice orange, but it is, I can tell, it's opaque. It definitely has some opaqueness going on, where this core is very transparent. So if I had my druthers, I'd choose core over Mission Gold. But, you know, I'm thinking about putting together an opaque watercolor set. So mix is pretty. I mean, it does make a nice pretty orange. So okay, let's see what else we got. Okay, the next two yellows I have are from Sennelier. I got them out of that 48 set that I have. And I have lemon yellow and primary yellow. Haven't even swatched these. And you can see where it says Sennelier. And the pigment information is not on this little sheet. It just has the color names and a reference number to cross-reference them on the website where you could go. I just go to AutoCano website and look them up by brand. She's got an excellent database and a Patreon channel. She does have a YouTube channel, and it is really good, where you can go see comparison videos. And she really does a deep dive on, a deeper dive than I'm doing now on the colors. So that one is a good one to watch. I'll link that in the end cards below as well. So here we're going to wet the paper and test Sennelier. They just have little half pans here. I'm going to test how well it picks up. You know, I did that. You know, they re-wet nice. They're a honey based. They got good flow. They flow really nice. Really nice. Some colors I like, some colors I don't. You know, you just have to go figure. All right, so, and you just have to watch, you know, because I think you could build your perfect palette. Let's see how well this lemon yellow PY3. We've tested this pigment, and it should be fairly similar to other PY3s we've tested. It mixes well. Mixes really well. See, and the alizarin crimson I'm using, like I said, it was PR83 from the Daniel Smith, and it's mixing well with everything. So watercolor plays well together. That's really pretty. Let me get some of that and put it down here. Pretty. Very transparent. All right, so now this is primary yellow. It's what they call primary yellow on their website and on the box. The pigment I had to go look up on that same website. It's really easy to find. You got watercolors by pigment and watercolors by brand. Oh, shoot, I didn't wet the page. And I want to see how well this... I want to see how well this travels and moves. I don't want too much water on there, so I'm lifting some off. Primary yellow, PY74. I think that moves really well. It's very transparent. I think that was a Hansa Yellow Medium in another brand. Primary yellow. Let me go look. PY74. It was in Permanent Yellow Light. It was a Hansa Yellow Medium in Da Vinci. Okay, so that's pretty nice. Okay, let's get some alizarin and mix it up. That's pretty. It mixes really well. You know, Sennelier is one of the wonderful brands in, I think, Paris. Wouldn't it be fun to go to an art store? They have an art store, Sennelier does. And because they make wonderful pastels and wonderful oil pastels. So, yeah, that's really nice. I really like those two. So, all right, on to our next brand. Okay, the next brand I have is Rosa Gallery. I love Rosa Gallery. So I have two yellows from them, and I have Cadmium Lemon, PY35, and Cadmium Yellow Light. They're both from the same palette. So I just love Rosa Gallery paints. Oh, they were dry, and I got so much paint up. I didn't wet the page. Gosh darn it. I just keep forgetting to do that. Let me go ahead and wet both spots, because I think it won't take very long to do this Rosa Gallery. They're both PY35, so I would say, you know, they probably, one was cooked for a little bit longer, and I've heard that. I haven't researched it myself, but I think the heating time is what makes the color richer and deeper. So here's Cadmium Lemon. I'm just looking at it again to make sure that I've got the right color that I've listed. Cadmium Lemon, look at it go. It's opaque. And it flows like crazy. And it's real cadmium. And these are such an affordable option if you're just wanting to get started or add to your collection. I just really, really, really like these paints. And I will leave my Jackson's affiliate link, and they have them on Jackson. Or if they have this set, they have some on Amazon. So I don't know if they're going to continue to sell on Amazon or if it's Jackson's page on Amazon. I don't know, but I'll link them both places. This is the, I don't know which set this is. It's really pretty. The cadmium is opaque. It's a cadmium. But look at it. It's going over here to the other one. It wants out. It likes to flow. If you like to watch watercolors flow, this is a nice set. Let's get that a little bit more orange. Take that red out. Yeah, that is so pretty. So pretty. I like that Sennelier though, that primary yellow. So pretty. All right, so here's cadmium yellow light. That was cadmium lemon. Now here is cadmium yellow light. I think because I wet that. If I hadn't wet that, I don't think it would have. See, it's just a little bit warmer. Than the lemon. But it's going to act the same as far as flow. It's flowing, but not as fast. And it's warmer than the cad lemon. It is opaque. All right, now I should have put that across. All right, so let's get some alizarin crimson. And mix her in there. See? I mean, that is... Let's see if we can keep mixing and get that to switch over a little bit. I may have to add some more cadmium yellow. It does not take much. Does not take much alizarin crimson. Yeah, it's going down. Still a little bit pinky. Let's get it a little bit more towards the orange. There we go. And you can just keep adding yellow until you got the perfect orange. Little bits at a time. A little dab will do ya. Little dab will do ya. Isn't that pretty? That's like a pumpkin color. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I love Rosa Gallery paint. I'll link them below, both by Jackson's and by Amazon. Amazon will be faster, I think. But, you know, I don't know. I can get things in less than a week from Jackson's. So that is a good affiliate link. So I'll try to leave it. It's really fun to go look around at Jackson's because you just see some different things over there. And they have a U.S. store. So, and they'll recognize that you're from the United States or whatever country you're from. So you can pay in the exchange that you're used to, you know, either dollar or euros. So that's one thing I like about Jackson's. So, okay, well, let's go on to the next one. Okay, the next brand I have is M. Graham. So I only have 3 yellows. I do have a whole tube range of M. Graham that I will be putting in a palette soon. So keep watching for that. But I have to be careful because I put some M. Graham on a plate and, you know, I was expecting once it dried, you know, I could turn it this way and store it, and I didn't, and it just ran everywhere. So, and made a heck of a mess. But, you know, depending on what you're doing, you know, you could have M. Graham, you know, just in a studio and left on your palette. But that's one thing I like about Daniel Smith is because I store my palettes. I store my palettes like this. So M. Graham wouldn't work that way. So I have to find a place. I have to find a place to store them. So let's get to this and get some comparisons from M. Graham. This first one is Bismuth Yellow, PY 184. Let's look. Do we have a PY 184 over here? PY 184. I don't see a PY 184. PY 184. There's a PY 180 in Marka Harding, but I don't see a PY 184. So we're just going to see what that looks like. That's something new. Bismuth Yellow. I am not sure. It looks really cool. Let's wet the paper. We want to see what it does. I'm interested in what it does. I haven't used it forever. And when I first buy a watercolor, or when I did buy these, I just took them out, squirted them out, swatched them, just a little bitty swatch, and for color reference, and then would paint a picture. Not even paying attention to the properties. That had a little bit of staining in it. Okay, so let's get this Bismuth Yellow. There's some binder or honey. I don't want to. There we go. I'll just kind of. There's no smell. That's really a cool color. Really flows. Seems to flow well across the paper. It went out here. I got a little water over here and it just. So, okay. Looks to be kind of opaque. Let's read the label and see. It does look to be opaque. It's a pretty color, but opaque does matter. Transparency matters. It says that, and I think it's honey based. They're an American company. I don't know if it has any transparency information on it. Light Fast 1. I don't see any transparency information on it. Series 2. Let's go ahead and mix it while it's wet. I have a feeling I'm going to get like this color here. Yeah, it's pretty opaque. It's cool, so I'm getting a good orange, but it is opaque. You know, it's covering. It's pretty opaque. So I wouldn't pick that. I would pick a cadmium over that. But it would be good for an opaque watercolor palette. So, which I'm thinking about. I'm just trying to figure out some different qualities I want in paints. All right, so the next one is Hansa Yellow in M gram, PY3. We've seen this before. We have it right up here in core. Yeah, I didn't realize that's really opaque. I think that that's going to be, but wouldn't that be pretty for a pumpkin? I like these more opaque colors for a pumpkin. Okay, this Hansa Yellow is, let me put some out here. I've got a pile of yellow going on over here. Okay, Hansa Yellow. That's pretty. I like Hansa Yellow. It's moving. Not real fast. I don't know if that's the Hansa Yellow I like. Okay, let's get this over here. This is a little bit opaque too. It's really cloudy over the line. I don't know if you can see that or not. Let me bring it up. You can tell it's really cloudy over the line. And I prefer to be able to see the line. Right away. I don't want to see that cloudiness. So, okay, let's get some alizarin crimson. And I put quite a bit of pigment on here. So it should be able to handle this mix. And it does. Okay. Well, M gram. You know, when I go to these workshops, everybody is using different kinds of paints. Some prefer Winsor & Newton, some prefer M gram, And it's usually by what they watch, and they buy a brand and they don't expand and learn about each individual brand. They're all good brands. Graham is a good brand, and this is beautiful mixes. But do you want more transparency, or do you want more granulation? You know, that's why I chose Daniel Smith, because Daniel Smith has more granulation. But not everybody likes that. So, okay, here's cadmium yellow, PY35. And this should be no surprise on, because it is, you know, opaque. Although this cadmium was very transparent. It dried very transparent. A Rosa Gallery. But I expect cadmiums. This says just cadmium yellow, PY35. But I wish they had the transparency. I guess if you went to, you'd have to do some research online before you went to the art store or something, because at the art store they just have them hanging. That's really warm. That's a really warm yellow, but it's pretty. It is pretty. That's like sunshine. That is like sunshine. So, and it moved well. Let's see what it looks like mixed with the alizarin. It's really opaque, as expected. Let's get some cadmium and mix it in there. It's a really strong cadmium. I put a lot of pigment down, though. It's pretty. Pretty. Ooh, that's really bright. Isn't that pretty? Yeah, that's a pretty orange. But because the yellow was warmer, the orange is going to be warmer. That's really pretty. All right, now we're off to my favorite brand of paint. So we'll be back instantly. Okay, so my favorite paint brand is to nobody's, you know, everyone knows that I love Daniel Smith. So, but I typically only use one yellow. I use Hansa Yellow Medium. Now, I have squeezed out in my updated palette, and I can maybe direct you that way, this Quinn Yellow. And I'm liking it so far. It's working, but like, you know, my instructor said, she said, you can choose any yellow. So I'm going to test its properties out against all these others. So let's just start with lemon yellow. And look, I left that cap on halfway, and it has dried out a little bit, but it's still got some movement to it. So I'm just going to get as much out as I can. And this is just lemon yellow. Let's see if I can push that. I don't think I can. I might have to take a toothpick or something and go digging in there. I can still feel the tube moving down here. So it may have sealed itself off. So I may have to pan that. But, you know, maybe, I don't know. If I put a little water down in there and put the lid back on, it might rehydrate itself. But there's lemon. I'm not perfect with my paints. I haven't used it for so long. See, I got that little hard piece off and I'm just using it to if this was a really expensive brush, don't do this with your sable brushes or your natural hair brushes. But these Princeton brushes, they're really good. I'm gonna drip a little water down in here and put the lid back on. And maybe it might take care of itself. You know, kind of like this is an art tip. This is an art tip. So if you have a hard, I don't know if I was on camera there, but I'm just getting some water on my brush and dripping down in there. And then I'm going to put the lid on. I don't know if this works or not. And I'm going to really put it on good. It's not wanting to go on straight. I'm going to really screw it down tight. See, it's not wanting to go on straight. But I'm going to try it. The threads are uneven. And let that set for a period of time. If not, I'll just cut this tube apart and put it in a whole pan. So, okay, there's lemon yellow. Daniel Smith's lemon yellow. All right, and get a little bit of alizarin crimson and get to mixing. Lemon yellow PY 175. Let me see if we had that before. PY 175. PY. Yeah, we had it in the Holbein Aurelian and the Winsor Newton Lemon. So it's the same pigment as the Winsor Lemon. So good to know. It's just all information. Watercolor knowledge. Okay, and you guys can do some of your own tests, you know, as you collect or get some. I highly recommend these because they have a place where you can write the information down. And, you know, you may not be testing all yellows, but you may be testing all your Rosa Gallery or all your alizarin crimsons or just all your reds, you know, or all your blues. So I think this is really good to compare. You know, I mean, this and this, that's very similar mix. Hansa Yellow Light and Sennelier, it's a very similar mix because it's the same pigment. So it can only help you when you're shopping to not overspend and decide what you want. I like the saturation of this, but yet it's transparent. Okay, let me look on that and see if it says transparent. It doesn't really say, or I'm not seeing it. The dot cards say, I don't have them next to, yes I do. Oops. The dot cards say if they're transparent or not. Yeah, lemon yellow is transparent. Yeah, I think that's why it makes such a pretty mix. Okay, the next one we have is Hansa Yellow Light, and it is PY3. PY3. Get my other brush here, my not so precious brush. It's really cool color. So it's going to be, there's some binder separation going on. And it's going to be like this Hansa Yellow Light up here. It's going to be like the Sennelier. You could use it as a yellow in your palette. You could use this and Hansa Yellow Medium. Or this and a cadmium yellow medium. That moves not real fast like a cadmium. Let's go all the way over and put it down. I had quite a bit of pigment, but I will have to say I am seeing some cloudiness over the line, but I put a lot of pigment on there. But let's see what it says about Hansa Yellow Light is semi-opaque or semi-transparent. So that is definitely semi-transparent. Okay, let's get some alizarin crimson. Let's see how it holds up. I got quite a bit here. I may have to add some Hansa back in. I think I will. I think I'll have to. Hansa Yellow Light. It's mixing and it's turning. However, it is, maybe because I had a lot of binder there. There it goes. There it goes. Semi-transparent. That's a lot of pigment. Daniel Smith has a lot of pigment. And a little dab will do ya. That's another reason I like Daniel Smith. Because, you know, I can put some out on a palette and use it forever before I have to reload. Okay, let's go next. Let's go to this Quin Yellow. So, Quin Yellow. Let's wet the page, wet the box. And I'm just going to test it. I don't know if I've really tested it. I just put it on there on my palette, and I thought I'm going to use this for a while and see how I like it. And so far I haven't had any trouble. I think the light fastness is, you know, it's a new color because it's not even on this stock card, and this stock card is years old. Years old. And they've come out with a new doc card with like 200 and almost 270 colors, and some colors have been discontinued. But this was just 238 colors. So I seen this at the art store and I thought I'm gonna get it and try it. It's looking pretty. It's looking pretty. It's moving. Goodness, there we go. You got to get those threads right. All right, let me read about it. It's PY 138. It doesn't really say if it's opaque or transparent or semi-transparent. Light fastness 2, Series 3 paint, which means it's going to be a little bit more expensive. Light fastness is 2, which is, I think, very good. All right, that's interesting. It's really pretty. Light fastness, 1 is excellent, 2 is very good, 3 is fair, 4 is fugitive. So that is very good. And lemon yellow is excellent. And Hansa yellow light is very good. So let's see how this mixes with. Alizarin. Okay, that does pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good tinting strength. PY 138. I don't think it was in any other. So I wonder if it's classified as a quinacridone. PY. I don't have any other PY 138. Nope, I don't see it. So that's new. And that's what I have on that Daniel Smith's, my landscape palette. I think, where is it? Oh, there it is. That's what I have on this. I need to mark my palettes. That's what I have on this that I did the indigos with, but I mixed this with some of the indigos to get some of those greens, to get all the greens actually. I think I used this. So I'll have to go back and watch that. All right, so it's been a good yellow. It's nice and bright, mixes well. I didn't push this down. Let's see if I can get some and bring it down here. A little bit. I don't want to disturb it too much because I don't want to lift it. Okay, so now we're going to go to my old tried and true, which is Hansa Yellow Medium. PY97. We had that over here with our light yellow with Vinci and Hansa Yellow Medium with my garden. So let's just see. I am a fan of Hansa Yellow Medium. Oh, we need that wet. This is my yellow of choice because I think it does well. Although I might change it to that. We'll see. It's a little bit warmer. It moves a little bit better. I do like to see the paint move. Yeah, it's a little bit warmer than these. But this was nice. I can see where that would be a perfect yellow for your palette. Hansa Yellow is high tinting, so I would just have to work with it a little bit more to see and do some other comparisons because they're very, very similar. This is a little bit cooler and this is a little bit warmer. But they're very similar. So let's take some alizarin crimson and get to mixing. It's getting a little, still a little bit too pink. Let's get some more Hansa Yellow Medium. Just a teeny tiny bit more. I don't want to flip it to yellow, which, see, I almost did. They're both strong colors. And there's Hansa Yellow Medium is a good color. I'm going to have to do a little bit more testing because I go through this Hansa Yellow Medium. This is like my third tube of that. But I have all these other yellows I can back up on. Okay, and the last one I have of Daniel Smith Yellow is Cadmium Yellow Medium Hue. Daniel Smith does not have real cadmiums. So this is a mix of PY53, PY151, and PY83. So I'm interested to see how clean of a mix I can get with a color that has, oh, I want to put water down on my paper first, because cadmiums do flow. And if it doesn't do that, and I just bought it, you know, at first when I first started painting, I was out to get every single color before I knew better. Now that you know better, you can do better. Okay, that is too much paint. This is supposed to have all the properties of cadmium. It is opaque. It's flowing some once I put a little bit more water in it. It's a good neutral yellow. It's opaque. All right, let's see how it mixes. Let's see how it mixes with alizarin crimson. I like the color of it. It's the color of Hansa Yellow Medium. And see, that looks kind of chalky to me. Kind of opaque-ish. Yeah, I think I prefer the transparent colors. I think that's a little muddy. But I could be just not liking it anymore. It may have its place. So, all right. So that is our, let me pull this out so I can show you a side-by-side comparison of all the yellows in my collection. Let's see if I can get. Can you see them all? I will take a picture. Let me hold them up so you can take a screenshot of all of them. So let me hold this up so you can take a screenshot. And get a closer look. And then I'll hold these up. So you can get a closer look at that. I don't think you can go wrong. I think whatever you choose, you can make it work and get through the yellow, because, you know, all of them mixed well. You know, I think it's just a matter of warm and cool and high tinting strength. But in my opinion, I like, and this is just my personal opinion, and what I get out of watercolor is how it makes me feel when I'm painting. So, you know, there's all the yellows. Oh my goodness. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got value out of this. And, you know, I hope that, you know, this really helped you make a decision or learn something about the paints, about the brands. Let me know your experiences with different yellows as well that I maybe haven't picked up or bought, you know, so that's important too, because I have not tried all the brands. Thanks for joining me, and I will talk to you later. Look out for the links at the end of the video. Bye.